All right, so before we wrap up this episode of the Rock News Roundup podcast, I want to talk about my tracks of the week. Every week here on the show, I'm going to recommend you a couple of different rock tracks that I'm really digging this week. And this week I have a couple of newer songs and one song that's a little bit older from back in 2007. But the first track of the week that I have for you this week is by a band called Hairpin. It's a song called Cyclone. This is a really, really cool track. These guys are a four-piece band based out of New York City. And like so many great bands, and like so many people these days, this was recommended to me on Spotify. It immediately made me perk up my ears. I immediately latched onto this song called Cyclone. It's really cool. It's got this mesmerizing drum and bass line, just locking in the groove. It's got these understated but really catchy melodic vocals and some really tasty guitar stuff happening in there as well. And on their website, it says they're focused on distinct grooves, rhythmic vocal stylings, angular guitars, pop choruses, and epic arcs. And I would say that's pretty accurate with the sound of this song called Cyclone. And they actually have a few different songs. They don't have a full album on Spotify yet, but they have a couple of different songs on there, including a most recent song called Oh Dear, which is also really solid. So I can't wait to hear more from these guys. This song is a keeper. So my first track of the week is Cyclone by Hairpin. My second track of the week comes courtesy of Franz Ferdinand. As I mentioned at the beginning of the show, I just did a rock album review on the YouTube channel for the new album from Franz Ferdinand called The Human Fear. It's a really, really solid album. It's got lots of those typical indie rock, spiky guitars and bubbly bass and synthy Franz Ferdinand songs, but then a couple of different songs which go in a little bit more of an experimental direction for Franz Ferdinand. And one of the songs that I really enjoyed on this new record, The Human Fear, is called Tell Me I Should Stay. And this was really, really cool. It starts out with this big piano intro that sounds really cool. And it goes into the band kind of doing their thing. And then into the chorus, it just transitioned to this big Beach Boys-esque chorus. It's got these timpanis, lots of Beach Boys kind of style production on there. Very Pet Sounds, very Beach Boys. A very awesome song. I enjoyed the Franz Ferdinand album, but I found myself kind of getting bored. And when this song came on, I was kind of almost jumped out of my seat with excitement of how cool this song was. It's called Tell Me I Should Stay. Very different from Franz Ferdinand, at least from what I know of the band. Very different from Franz Ferdinand. So I really did enjoy that new song, Tell Me I Should Stay, from Franz Ferdinand. And then my final track of the week for this week's edition of the Rock News Roundup podcast is from Coheed and Cambria. We were just talking about them, talking about their North American tour, and talking about their new album Vaxis 3. But for Coheed, for this week, one of the tracks of the week that I'm going to recommend is by Coheed, and a song called Feathers. This one is going back to their album from 2007. You gotta love these Coheed album titles. Good Apollo, I'm Burning Star 4, Volume 2, No World for Tomorrow. That's a really cool Coheed record. Feathers is one of the best tracks on that record. And one of the coolest things about this song and about the whole album is that it features Taylor Hawkins, the late great Taylor Hawkins of Foo Fighters, on drums on this song and on the entire record. I guess Josh Eppard, who was the drummer for Coheed, was on a little bit of a breakup from the band at the time. He wasn't featured on that record. So Taylor Hawkins came in and played drums on the record, came in and played drums on this song, Feathers. It's a great performance. It's a great song. Has such amazing energy. I love the guitar figures in the verses. The chorus is soaring. It's catchy. And you know what? Coheed is always melodic. They're always really well put together. The songs, the melodies are always really good, but maybe they're not always as immediate as you would want them to be. Sometimes with good Coheed songs, it takes a couple of listens to really key in to the great parts of those melodies. But the song like Feathers, this one is more immediate, and it's really a great rock and Coheed song. So if you don't know Feathers, that is one of my tracks of the week. Coheed and Cambria, Feathers, Franz Ferdinand, Tell Me I Should Stay from the new album, The Human Fear, and then a song from New York City's Hairpin and their song called Cyclone. So those are my tracks of the week.